Hello again, everyone. Nice to be back. This week I'm joined by a special guest called Kevin. And this is Kevin. Kevin wanted me to tell you a few things about him as he's new. Kevin wanted me to tell you that he's the fastest person in the world. Kevin wanted me to tell you that he's also the funniest person that he knows. He's really funny. Kevin also wanted me to tell you that he's probably the richest person that he knows as well. Kevin also wanted me to tell you that he's the best looking person that he knows. Where is he? Kevin also wanted me to tell you that he's the smartest person that he knows. Kevin also wanted me to tell you that he's probably the most confident person that you know. This is Kevin. Kevin also wanted me to tell you that he's the best person at FIFA. This is Kevin. Kevin also wanted me to tell you that he is the best person. Wow. Kevin wanted to tell you a lot, didn't he? Do you mean my ears are ringing? Maybe you know someone like Kevin who thinks they're amazing at everything and wants to tell everyone all the time. Very proud person. Well, Jesus knew someone like knew people like this during the time, and when he was preaching, they used to come and listen to him. And today's parable is about people that are very proud, about the Pharisee and the tax collector. Now, this parable can be found in Luke chapter 18, verse 9 to 14. Now, a parable, if you remember, is a simple story that Jesus told to help us understand more about God and our relationship to God. So let's have a look at what this parable says. Now, Jesus didn't like when people thought they were better than everyone else, and he wanted to make a real point about being humble. So he told this story about two men that went to a temple to pray. One was humble, one was not. I'll get to see if you can figure out which one is which. Now, one was a Pharisee, as we said, and one was a tax collector. Now, the Pharisees were teachers of the scriptures, and they knew a lot about God's word, but they thought they were better than other people and they should be treated better. Now, when this Pharisee prayed, he only thought about how good he was, and he stood up, nice and proud, and prayed, "God, I thank you that I'm not bad like other people. I'm glad I'm not bad like robbers and cheaters. I'm glad I'm not bad like that tax collector over there." And the Pharisee continued praying, "Lord, I'm so good. I give lots of money and I pray a lot. I'm really good." Now, I wonder what you think God thought about this Pharisee's prayer. The Pharisee wasn't humble when he prayed. He had too much pride in himself. He stood up, he made it all about him, and he compared himself to others, a bit like poor old Kevin at the start of this video. Now, Jesus said the Pharisee wasn't right with God here. Now, that would have shocked the people that Jesus was talking to at the time, because a lot of them were Pharisees, and a lot of people thought Pharisees were the best of the best. So to tell them they're not right with God would have been really shocking. So then, let's see what happens next. So the tax collector then prayed. Now, sometimes tax collectors cheated people. They took money off people in the area, and you meant to give it to like their government at the time, but sometimes they take extra money and keep it themselves, so people didn't really like them. So this tax collector's coming in and he's praying, which is a good thing that he's come to pray, and this is what he said. Now, he didn't stand up in front of everyone, and he stood off at a distance to make it less about himself. Perhaps he was shy, perhaps he was worried what other people would think about him. He stood off at a distance and prayed, "God, you are so good. I'm sorry that I've done wrong. please help me to be better. A very simple prayer, not even a very long prayer, but a sincere prayer. And I wonder what you thought about, what God thought about the tax collector's prayer. The tax collector was humble when he prayed. He didn't think about how good he was, he thought about how good God was. Jesus said the tax collector could be happy with the way he prayed, and that the tax collector was right with God, as opposed to the Pharisee. And after Jesus said the parable, he told everyone to be humble before God, and that would make them great. I think there's two main things that we can learn here about being humble, or two lessons that we can learn to try and help us make us more humble. First lesson: if we really want to know how good we are, we need to compare ourselves to the best person, okay? And that's Jesus. So we need to compare ourselves to Jesus if we want to know how good we really are. Like that Pharisee, the tax collector, realised when he's praying to God, who's so good and who's done so much for us, and like we learned last week, is offering us the best gift possible and has died for us, we realise that we're not really good at all. We're not really good at all. I mean, if I wanted to be the fastest person in the world, I wouldn't have a race against my wife and my kids and my friends and see, am I really the best? What I would do is compare myself to the world record to see who's the best in the world, who's the best that's ever done it. Then that would tell me whether I was really good or not. In the same way, when we compare ourselves to how we live our lives, we compare ourselves to the best of the best, and that's Jesus. And when we compare ourselves to Jesus, we realise that we need to be humble because we're really not that good. The second thing, once you realise you're humble, once you realise that we're not really that good, we need to ask help to be better. Now, one thing you might notice about people who are proud is that they don't really ask for help because they think they can do it themselves. What God says is that when we realise that we're not the best, we then need to ask for help. And like the tax collector did here, he prayed to God to be better. He realised that he wasn't that good. He knows how good Jesus is, how good God is. And then he asked help to be better. Now, that's something you can do yourself by praying. Maybe it's something you want to do with your parents and pray with them. I really encourage you to do that. Compare yourself to Jesus and only Jesus. Ask and pray so that you can be better at being a Christian or become a Christian. Thanks for listening, everyone, and I hope to see you soon.